Good afternoon and welcome back once again. This is Amuna Yisrael, SOULONOMiCS 101, the Lev Project Review Prep. This is the review prep of last night's episode of Roots. I want to big up everybody who came over, who listened to the live presentation review. Like I said before, it was so much information that just to go off the top of the head wouldn't even have done it justice. And I would have to say the same for this second episode of Roots. But quickly, and again, once again, we're going to do it again today. So the link is in the box after I finish this review prep. You know, we're going to see the time that it starts and we'll go over there and do a review for those who want further information. And this is why I named this one Culture of Ignorance. For those who desire further information, we seem to think, I'm just noticing that, you know, if we personally don't desire to want more or know more, then no one else should desire to want or know more. And I think that's really wild and strange and crazy. But nonetheless, I also think that it's after effects of a certain type of mentality. Now, ignorance is not necessarily taking shots, but it's basically meaning that we lack information and we lack knowledge. Now, here's the thing. It's okay. But once we stay in that space, it's okay to say, you know what, I don't know. But to stay saying I don't know and then insist that others shouldn't know because it's not coming all in the way that you think it should be. I mean, some of the stuff that I'm seeing, we think that one narrative, one movie is supposed to encapsulate the whole quote unquote black experience. I mean, and sometimes I'm just here scratching my head. There are hundreds and hundreds of narratives. There are millions of stories, some that have not been captured and others that have been. And to think that people are beefing about Roots and, oh, why did they change the storyline? They're filling in some of the gaps. They're taking it possibly in another direction. They're putting in stuff that wasn't originally outlined in the first edition. A lot of people who watch Roots, I bet, you know, a lot of people didn't read the book. It is a narrative. And so a lot of people didn't read the book. And oftentimes when a book is being adapted for TV, they cannot possibly put the backstory, the preface, and all of those things that need to be in there for you to understand what you're looking at and what you're watching. And so in these episodes, they're exploring other aspects of that space and time. And I just find it wild and crazy and interesting and funny the way we relate to change. In 1970, there wasn't as much liberty to say certain things as they do in 2016. And it really depends on your eyes and your focus and your vision or however you're seeing this. But for myself, like I said before, it's a case study. But in saying that, I'm going to share what someone said towards the information that I gave yesterday. Someone said, because good, bad, or indifferent comments are comments, and we need to learn, to grow, and to be able to exchange in a respectable manner. So the person starts off, no disrespect, but this female, referencing me, sound gullible as HELL. She's saying you should watch this Bink to find out who we are. And then he puts 3 question marks. Is this what he's interpreting me to say? Because like I say, SOULONOMiCS 101 is all about improving ourselves, how we relate in communication. So this is like a real issue within us that we assume what the other one is saying. And by that assumption, we make an assertion. And so the person says FOH, and for those who don't know, it's a curse. I don't believe none of that BS. If they don't treat you right, they damn sure ain't going to teach you right. So when I first saw this, when I woke up this morning, I'm like, this is interesting. I always find it as an opportunity to engage and have a conversation. But before I could, someone who's been following the Lev Project says this. This lady has more knowledge about African American slave history than most people, referencing me. Check out the videos on her channel, The Lev Project, and her website. She has read numerous slave narratives and books about slavery, so she knows what really happened in those times from first-hand accounts. Like I've been saying from the beginning of the year, because of our ignorance, because of my ignorance in times past, and just from being in that space where, oh yeah, slavery was bad, it was really bad, and I couldn't put my hands on it, I couldn't relate to it. I said, no, enough of that. I'm going to take the responsibility up for myself. And then I didn't only just did that, I said, you know what, let's do it together. So for the last 6 months, we have been reading collectively. This is one of the persons who have been listening, Brother Mike. He says, what she is doing is comparing the facts that she has read and learned over the years to what they are showing on the show. How many narratives have you read? Now somebody would say, "Oh man, he's taking shots," but that's a fair question. If you're going to say, and if you're going to conclude that this is what I'm saying concerning Roots, then the question is, what are you comparing the narratives to? What are you comparing the movie of Roots to? It says, if none, there are plenty in the link above for you to choose from. And I love the way Mike handled it because I didn't really have to say nothing else. I said, thanks for sharing. And I hope that everyone will join so that we can discover this truth together. It's not me against you, either or. I'm seeing a lot of that on social media. Should I watch this when I should watch that? The history, like we said yesterday and every other day, is so expansive. Pick a spot. Pick a spot. And then just, hone down into that spot and begin to expand your thought process. Do a short overview so that we won't say stuff like what was just said. And it wasn't even founded. And the reason he said that is because A, he doesn't know the history, which I made very public because it's a public project. And someone who was there and who was present saw the value and was able to reiterate that. So I say that to say that's not my total review of Roots. Like I said, the review is coming up. The link is in the box. Check it out. Very shortly, and if you missed it, check it out on the replay. But this culture of ignorance that we have around slavery, because it's still painful, because it still hurts, because we're still in the place of which it actually happened. It's like a child being abused, and that child still lives in that house that the abuse took place. So everywhere that child go, it reminds them of that person. The person still lives there. The smell is still there. The routine is still there. So it's kind of hard to step out of that space and assess what you're seeing. I understand that, but that is still not an excuse for us to continue on in ignorance and say some real ignorant stuff. You understand? So hopefully we'll see you. And again, take notes while you're watching, or take notes while you're not watching. And then, but at least have it to compare it to something, not the figment of our imagination of which we cloudily, made up in our mind. But if we take some time to actually process what we're seeing, then we can be ready to come to the table to really have a discussion that's going to be progressive. So with that said, my name is Amuna Yisrael. Like I said, once again, this is the review prep. We're going to get into the review. See you there. Talk soon. Have a blessed day. 1.